Disneyland was designed to emulate an old-fashioned street in a small town. And in fact, it's this small town street that is part of what brought Disneyland into Anaheim. At this time, Anaheim already had this really awesome Halloween festival that had started decades before that, in 1923. It's the same year as Disney Studios, which is kind of a cool coincidence. Anyway, they had started it because, of course, we all know that Halloween, that tricks used to be the order of the day, and the teenagers would get a little crazy and wild with the tricks and actually even do damage. So the Anaheim Chamber of Commerce, like many other small towns, decided to start, a Halloween festival and have a parade and make it town kind of a celebration and distract people from doing all those crazy things and attract people to Anaheim also. At the time, Disney was figuring out where Disneyland should be. Anaheim realized that it was going to have to grow out of being an agricultural small town. Land was getting bought up everywhere. Farms were no longer going to be the main economy. People were going to need jobs. And Anaheim, their Chamber of Commerce didn't want everybody moving out, and they wanted to provide jobs for all of their people. They were working to get different companies to come into Anaheim and provide jobs for people. And about the same time, they were figuring out where to go. Anaheim had this parade, and companies would make floats for the parade. Different companies sponsored the floats in all of their parade, and they invited Disney to do this. And so on the one hand, Disney's like, oh, this is cool. Maybe we can be in Anaheim. Maybe they'll welcome us in. At the same time, Anaheim, wanting to provide more jobs for its people, is like, oh, if Disney comes here, maybe they'll see that Anaheim is the perfect place to put an amusement park that provides lots of jobs. And guess what? Here it is, here in Anaheim. Halloween was the date, so to speak, that brought Disney and Anaheim together to make Disneyland. I just think that's a cool history, yeah?
One book left, burned. We burned almost every physical book in the country.
What does a novel about a dystopian future and an oak tree in Disneyland have to do with each other? I think it's a little bit light to find this out. The answer is Ray Bradbury, who is a great friend of Walt Disney and wrote the novel Fahrenheit 451. He was a futurist, and despite that dystopian novel, he had a great optimistic vision of the future, and that's what he shared in common with Walt. He met Walt in 1964.
And a wonderful thing happened one Christmas back in 1964. I was in a shopping center in Beverly Hills. I saw a man approaching me with a bunch of gifts, and his head was standing over the top. And I said, my God, that's Walt Disney. That's my hero. So I ran over to him. I said, Mr. Disney? He said, yes. I said, my name is Ray Bradbury. He said, I know your books. I said, oh my God, that's wonderful. He said, why? I said, because someday soon I want to buy you lunch. And he said, tomorrow? How about that? It was the last time anyone ever said tomorrow to you. But the next day, I was in Disney's office having soup and sandwiches with Walt.
The secretary was like, only 1 hour, just 1 hour. And it wasn't Ray Bradbury that she was warning. Or she was warning Ray Bradbury to make sure Walt only kept it to an hour, because it was Walt Disney that went around and took him for a lot longer, showing him some of the great things that the Imagineers were doing.
And we babbled like children. That's the great thing. And I knew that I met a lover that loved life as much as I did.
But in that first lunch, when Ray sat down, Walt said, nothing has to die. And what Walt was talking about was the World's Fair. He shared with Ray Bradbury his idea that the World's Fair in 1964, it was going to get torn down, and he wanted there to be one all the time. And he was talking about Disney World and the Epcot Center. They were great friends, and he collaborated on a lot of things that had to do with like Disney World and Epcot Center after Disney passed away, because Disney had said, we're both geniuses and we just like hate each other after 2 weeks of trying to work together. So, but after he died, Ray Bradbury helped so much with so many concepts in Disneyland. He had a novel also called Something Wicked This Way Comes, which was adapted to a Disney movie that he wrote the script for. And he also wrote a book called The Halloween Tree. My 6th grade teacher read it to me. And in 2007, in honor of all the help he did at Disneyland, they planted this oak tree.
Yeah. To be a permanent part of Disneyland. So there's going to be a plaque here, and we're going to give Ray a copy of the plaque. But first, I want him to talk a little bit about the Halloween tree, and then he's going to do the honors here tonight and actually bring this hallowed oak to life.
That's wonderful. God bless you.
Okay.
I'm so proud to be here. Thank you so much.
Okay, put it, you know. Okay, so let's have Ray pull the switch to light our Halloween tree.
All right, here we go. There we go. Oh God, that's great. I know the ghost of Walt Disney is blessing me at this very moment.
Why don't you tell him a little bit about the story of the Halloween tree?
Oh yeah. Very quickly, I was in the basement with my children 50 years ago. I painted a picture of a Halloween tree, and 2 years later I bumped into Chuck Jones, the animator, and we talked about Halloween, and he wanted me to do something about Halloween. So I brought him the picture, and he said, "That's beautiful." Well, I wrote the film for Chuck Jones, but MGM closed its animation unit and fired everybody, including me. So I wrote the novel of the Halloween tree, and it was published 35 years ago this week. And along the way, when people read it, the Halloween tree began to appear in front yards across the United States. I'm so glad of that, because now I realize I'm becoming part of my favorite holiday. So you see how much this means to me, but it's especially fine because I belong here in Disneyland ever since I came here 50 years ago. I'm glad I'm going to be a permanent part of the spirit of Halloween and Disney. Thank you.
Wow. And an oak tree is going to last hundreds of years. And dedicated it to him. There's even a cool plaque there.
Yeah. This will be here forever. Kids will be able to see the plaque, and every year, if Brad Kay, who did all this work last night, has his way, we'll decorate it even more. As the tree gets older and bigger, it'll get more and more decor each year. So yeah.
There.
I like on that Halloween tree.
Wow, we just came around the corner. I know it looks beautiful and great, but this is better than last year.
It's more lights, I think.
Wow, there's more lights, and they're the red and the orange and the yellow and all together. Oh, that's so beautiful. That is so, wow. I wish other people could have felt what I just felt, because I walked around the corner and I saw that tree. Wow.
And on Halloween, I present a bunch of Disney Halloween films because I want those children to see these great scenes which combine terror with beauty. So you see, over the years, I wanted to wind up with people like you. And